Dernière. Good morning, everybody. I'm Laurent Chanisseau.
Rogelio Bonilla.
Marine Renaud.
As part of a Stepping Plus project, the 2 days training session is dedicated to EPC facilitator. This concept of EPC facilitator appears decisive during the Stepping project experience. During this session, we will give you some key elements on the concept and the associated services. First, what are we talking about? Well, as you can see, we have detailed four dimensions: the role, the skills, and the hosting structure and the financial model of the EPC facilitator. First, the role. The EPC facilitator supports municipalities in technical, financial, awarding, and contracting procedures all along the project implementation. The more the municipality is small, the more the support is needed. Concerning the skills, small local authorities lack resources, as you know. The facilitator should then have technical, financial, but also administrative, legal, communicational expertise. Finally, the facilitator must have adequate knowledge about the ESCO model in order to organize the contracting between the municipality and the ESCOs. About the hosting structure, as EPC context is different in each country, in each region, concerning legislation, ESCO market, energy consumption, the hosting structure, and also the support needs can be different in each country, in each region. Mostly, advices or support by an energy agency or regional authority are sufficient, but sometimes a contracted public-private society is needed, as it's the case in France. Finally, concerning financial model, energy performance contract facilitation could easily be financed in the framework of big project because it represents 1 or 2% of the budget. But it's more complicated for small grouping of small projects because the facilitation cost can represent 5 to 10% of the budget. Then for small project, public funds are needed because the support cost is proportionally higher than for big projects. On this picture, you can see that on one side you have the municipalities. They have a building stock, and their priority is to improve their public service and user comfort. On the other side, you have the ESCOs with technical experience and the need of profit and long-term business and projects. The relationship between ESCOs and municipality is not balanced. Then the role of the facilitator is to support on the side of the municipalities.
This slide presents an overview of the services an EPC facilitator may provide. Note the 3 columns: preliminary studies in green, detailed studies and tender in blue, and tender contract and execution in orange. These happen to be the 3 main stages at which an EPC facilitator is involved. Before we dive into each of these services, take a mental note of this table. As an EPC facilitator, you are not obligated to provide all of these services to be operational. Depending on the needs of the municipalities you will assist, on the experience available in your organization, such as technical, financial, or administrative, and on the resources you are able to attribute, you are free to assemble the service offer that suits you best. Now, let's dive into each of the services that an EPC facilitator may provide. Each of the actions that we saw on the previous slide will be presented in the slide and the following 2. Each action is broken down into 2 categories: what the stakes of taking such actions are, and the deliverables that the actions aim to produce. The first action is the assessment of EPC requirements. In order to launch an EPC, the municipality must first make sure that they meet all the requirements in order to avoid working for something they cannot achieve. The stress test gives a green or red light to facilitate this step. The next action is the first scenario: building selection, energy, and financial risks. ESCOs aim at maximizing their profit while meeting the needs from the municipalities in question. The preliminary project framework helps them to meet halfway. The next action is the selection of the EPC project support. An inventory of the municipality's internal skills, technical, financial, and legal, has to be compared with the required skills necessary to carry an EPC. This list will help determine how the unavailable skills will be included. Next slide, please. The next action is the supervision of technical, detailed analysis. There may be more than one way to achieve the goals that the project is aiming at. Getting a second opinion and weighing out options will benefit the municipality in the long term. The next action is the research of funding opportunities and the setup of investment plans. Finding a balance between the financial sources that will make the project possible is essential. A combination of ESCO's investment, subsidies, grants, and other sources will appear in a comprehensive investment plan. The next action is the advice of EPC tender preparation. A variable that is not always considered is to receive an answer from the ESCOs that the municipality selected, often as a result of high-risk investment. A skilled person in charge of sourcing will be in charge of presenting the tenders and risk analysis to the ESCOs in the most efficient way. Next slide, please. The next action is the EPC tender supervision. There are many steps and many experts leading to this point. Making sure that the municipality selects the most suitable option is key. The next action is advice for contract content. The contract that the municipality will sign will follow them for around 10 years. Making sure that the clauses in the contract don't turn against the municipality requires very keen attention to detail. Contract templates are provided to facilitate this task. The next task is monitor project execution and operation, making sure that the results and the initial plan are consistent and is key for owner and user satisfaction. For the duration of the EPC, the EPC facilitator can tackle this through a measures and verification plan. Remember that you are free to assemble the service offer that suits you best. It all depends on the needs of the municipalities you will assist, on the expertise available in your organization, such as technical, financial, or administrative, and on the resources you are able to attribute. For example, in France, we have created the following service. This is the same service, only presented differently. You can appreciate in blue and green the role of the project owner and the facilitator service. You can also get a better feel of how each action succeeds each other into a more chronological representation. So this is just an overview, but if you want to learn more.
So in the previous parts of the training, you had an overview of the role and competencies of an EPC facilitator. But if you want to learn more about the involvement of the EPC facilitator and the implementation of an energy performance contract, a guide has been written in the framework of the STEPPING project. This guide targets public authorities. It delivers step-by-step guidance, recommendation for the use of an EPC, requirements to succeed in the different steps. It also provides testimonies for a concrete approach and implementation of an EPC. This guide is available in 7 different languages. You can download it on the Stepping Plus project website, on the slide, in the deliverables library section. Further information are also available through the other training sessions of other project partners. And if you have any questions, we will be available during the question and answer session. Thank you for your attention.